The Kansas City Chiefs just made an unexpected roster move, waiving a former first round draft pick. You guys are listening to the KC Sports Report. I'm your host, Michael Darcy. I'm a local Kansas City based content creator who covers this Chiefs team on a daily basis. And the best way you guys can show your support is by hitting the like button on this video and subscribing for more daily Chiefs coverage. Today, we are going to talk about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The Chiefs waived him yesterday afternoon. And this move officially marks the end of the Clyde Edwards-Helaire era in Kansas City, which was a very tumultuous and controversial era, but I wanted to talk about it because it was very interesting. The Chiefs selected running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire out of LSU with the final pick in the first round of the 2020 NFL Draft. I actually remember covering that draft and covering that pick, and at the time, it seemed like a good fit. It was someone that Brett Veach and Patrick Mahomes thought could fit into this offense. They were coming off of a season where they won the Super Bowl, but Damian Williams was a question mark if he was going to be back. And so the Chiefs needed a running back, and they selected one with their final pick in the first round, I guess the first round draft pick right after winning a Super Bowl. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a pretty good rookie season. In 2020, he had 181 carries going for 803 rushing yards. He had 4 rushing touchdowns, and he averaged 4.4 yards per carry, which, by all things considered, that's a pretty good rookie season. And it had a lot of Chiefs fans wondering what he could do in the future. Maybe he could be a 1,000-yard rusher for this offense that continued to find ways to explode. But unfortunately, it only went downhill from there. In 2021, Clyde had a massive drop-off in production, only getting 119 carries for 517 yards. The touchdowns did remain the same, though. He scored 4 in 2021, but as you saw in 2022 and in 2023, his production essentially got cut in half. He had 71 carries for 302 yards and 3 touchdowns in 2022, and then in 2023, he had 70 rushing attempts for 223 yards and 1 touchdown. And in 2024, he didn't do anything. Not a single carry, not a single game played. He was essentially a player that the Chiefs could not play because you saw in the offseason, he came out with a very relatable struggle. He came out with PTSD, something that he'd been struggling with since he was in college. And I think it really affected the football player that he was. And the Chiefs, being the great organization that they are, they weren't just going to cut ties with him. They knew how important Clyde was to the locker room chemistry. They wanted to take care of one of their own. Listen, love it or hate it, love what the Chiefs do or hate them, they like to take care of their own guys. And that's pretty evident by the contracts that they give out to guys like Mike Dana or, Derek Nottie. They love to take care of players that they draft and are kind of homegrown talents, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire was no different. Again, he didn't play a snap in 2024, but he did get paid, and he was still involved in the locker room, and the team all loved him, and that's why he was here so long. He wasn't a great talent on the field, but everyone loved him. Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Eric Bieniemy when he was the OC here, they all loved Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And while he didn't end up being the first-round draft pick that we all thought he could be, he didn't get to pick where he got drafted. He didn't get to pick what spot he got drafted. Because I remember, a couple of years ago, we all compared him to the guy that got picked before Jonathan Taylor. And Jonathan Taylor has had a pretty good NFL career, but Clyde couldn't control that. And so it was kind of unfair to have all of those harsh criticisms of him when he didn't want to go in the first round. I guess he wanted to go in the first round, but he didn't pick where he went. He didn't say, Chiefs, draft me in the first round. The Chiefs made that decision, and it just didn't pan out. And so you can't blame him for where he was drafted, but you can blame the player not working out. I think it just didn't work out. He wasn't as explosive as he was in college, and he also just didn't really fit the running scheme. So I think that this was the correct move to make. You had to move on from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm kind of surprised they didn't do it in the offseason, but they were very sensitive to what he was going through. They knew he was going through PTSD and he was going through all those mental health issues. They weren't just going to outright waive him. They were not going to do that. And so I think the Chiefs did this about as good as you possibly could, and giving him some time not only to get grounded again, but still remain with team operations until the Chiefs did not have a roster spot for him anymore. And so I do want to praise the Chiefs for doing that. I also want to read this tweet that Clyde Edwards-Helaire sent yesterday. He said, "Love you, KC. A family I didn't know I needed. Y'all made a kid from Baton Rouge dreams come true. To Chiefs Kingdom, it's all love, and the support I had in troubling times will forever be unmatched from you guys. With love, Clydro." And so, listen, I wasn't a massive fan of Clyde. I thought that he, for the most part, underperformed during his tenure in Kansas City. But I do like the guy. I think as a dude, he's just fantastic. And you could kind of tell that all the guys on the team loved him. And so I don't have any issues with the person who Clyde Edwards-Helaire is. I think it's very honorable and very, cool that he came out and was very forthcoming with what he was struggling with PTSD and all the mental health issues. But he just didn't have a spot on the team anymore. Now, we got this tweet from Matt Derrick yesterday, which could shed some light on what the Chiefs plan to do with that roster spot. The Chiefs have officially waived running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire per the NFL transaction report. That would appear to open up a roster spot for the expected return of wide receiver Hollywood Brown, which I find very fascinating because Hollywood Brown returned to practice last week. You saw him running some routes. He's been very active on his Instagram, kind of showing off the speed. And so maybe Hollywood Brown is getting very close to returning. Maybe the Chiefs go out and get Deontay Johnson, wide receiver who just didn't work out with the Ravens. There's a lot of options that the Chiefs could fill that roster spot with. If I was betting, I would say that that's probably going to be Hollywood Brown's spot. But I think that the Chiefs were at a point where they couldn't justify having Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the roster anymore, and that's why they made the move. But Chiefs Kingdom, I want to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments below. What do you think of the Chiefs waiving running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Did you think that he, fulfilled expectations in Kansas City? Were you disappointed with his tenure, with the Chiefs? And how do you think of Clyde as a person? Because again, all of the issues that I had with him as a player, they don't go with the person. He as a person is fantastic, but you can't pay fantastic people to play football. You need good football players, and he just didn't really fit what the Chiefs, need in the running game. They got that in Kareem Hunt. They got that in Isaiah Pacheco, and you even saw Carson Steele make this team at fullback over Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And so I think he should be very fortunate that he got to stay on this team as long as he did, but he is no longer a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. So Chiefs Kingdom, that is all I have for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, hit that like button and subscribe for more of the best daily Chiefs content on YouTube. I've been here each and every single day, giving you guys all the Chiefs news and updates, and the best way you guys can show support is by hitting the like button on this video and subscribing for more daily Chiefs coverage. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching this video, and as always, go Chiefs.